So, hello and welcome to Data Literacy Podcast, episode number 4. Today, here with me is my guest and my friend, a new friend actually, Gurleen. Gurleen is a Cloud Era certified Hadoop Spark instructor. She's been working in the industry for a long time. So, without any further delay, let's hand over to Gurleen. Gurleen, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. Thank you for calling me up. Should I give my introduction now? Is the time? Yeah, so I've been in the industry for a long time. I'm not going to say the years. You can check the LinkedIn profile. It just
On the LinkedIn.
adds on to the age. But yeah, so I've been in the industry for a long time. I started my career during college itself. But I've been into training and consultancy. I did production work also for 2 years. I worked with a company, for a telecom company. It was a product we were making for them. But then I switched back to trainings because I felt that was more of my field. And so yeah, I deal with big data, machine learning, data science, and all these fancy terms which you see right now. And I travel. So my job lets me travel. That's the best part.
I think that's one of the dream jobs of every Gen Z and millennial at our time.
It seems to be fun, but yeah, it has its own pros and cons. But yeah, it's fun. You get to travel.
Okay. So apart from being a tech nerd, tell us about yourself. Like who is Gurleen when she's on computer and when is not teaching big data?
Look, it's very 20% of me teaching because I don't like it. And I consider myself to be a very creative person. So I have enrolled myself in a lot of other activities. Like I also do theater. I do theater, yeah. I do practice that. I've been practicing along with my work, stage shows and everything. I've also done a few films. I'm working on these films. Yeah, I'm acting in that. I'm directing. Then for my mental health and everything, I also go for dance classes and so yeah, my foot is everywhere. But theater and my technical things are two boats which I'm currently traveling.
Okay. So what are some biggest challenges like being in the work and pursuing your hobbies? Are there any challenges?
Of course there are challenges. Of course, I had to. First time I had. I don't know if you guys have seen the film Tamasha. My life was always around that, and it's so like I had to choose sometimes between my job and my theater rehearsals. And one fine day, it came up that I had to just leave my job. Like I just left it without any backup. And I was just like 2 or 3 years in the industry, and I just left it without any backup. I just came home and I started crying. That मैंने क्यों कर दिया मुझे नहीं पता, why am I doing this? I'm not even getting money out of my theater thing. But it was there. Then slowly, gradually, I knew that I had to make money. And I thought of something where I could do both the things. I had to find a job which was suitable like this. I was recently, I'm just ignoring one point. There's this series by TVF which is recently launched called Sapne versus Everyone. I was just watching a couple of days back. And it's exactly like this. Anyone who is in the creative field might feel, because you have a job that comes down to like 7 p.m., 8 p.m. And then you don't even get time to do your creative stuff, be it music, be it anything else. So yes, there are challenges. It's just that you have to, since you yourself have enrolled into this, and you cannot leave both of these sides of yours career. So, खुद ढूंढना पड़ता है. I feel like you have to find a way to yourself. I mean, I've been crying all night and then again going to the office next morning, but it has been what it has been, and it's fun. Life में adventure रहता है. So yeah, that is it.
Okay, so we'll take you a little more back. Like, how was your schooling? Where did you end up growing? And how you ended up in this big data thing? Yeah.
So I was, I did my schooling in a school in Delhi. It's called Holy Child. It was all girls school, convent. And honestly, I did not know what my ambition was. My friends were taking science, so I was like, okay, I have to take science. So मेरा कुछ नहीं था, like I was like little cattle, वो वाला होता ना कि हाँ दोस्त जा रहे होंगे तो चले जाओ. So everybody was that. But yes, I was on this because my friends were very like considering toppers in the class. So I always felt like I have to be in the group, so I have to get good marks. So I did not used to get good marks because of myself. It was because I want to be in the group of these people.
Because of the competition.
Because of the competition and because I want to be accepted in the group. So I felt like if I fail in something, because I remember pre-boards during 10th and 12th, I got flunked in the pre-boards. And I felt like none of my friends got flunked, and me and one more person. And I felt like, yaar, abhi mujhse baat nahi karenge, or they'll be like, oh, she's a failure or something like that. But it's all in your head, and because that I practiced a lot and everything. So 10th and 12th I got 11th and 12th I got PCM with computer science I had. So yeah, and then I jumped on to engineering, and in college I got into engineering. That's also what I've done from Delhi. It's IP University. Not a in the IP University. I actually gave for IIT, all these other things as well, but सबको अपना पता होता है. So I knew myself. Yeah, IIT वाला तो नहीं है भाई. So, but yeah, it was there. Then I did my engineering in computer science. I was getting computer science easily, so I got into that. And wahan par it was very oof. So I've never failed. That's word. Wherever I've never failed in my 12 years of career. Like pre-boards में तो teacher used to particularly fail you and all that. कि तुम थोड़ी और मेहनत करो. Like half of my class used to get flunked and everything. But in the final, of course, when you're passing, I never used to have like failed in an exam or something. So when I got into my college, my first year in computer science, we had a subject called applied mathematics, M1.
Yeah.
And I flunked that exam. And I got like failed in one subject in that entire. And of course, the whole class. So it's like a thing. M1 में fail नहीं हुआ तो क्या engineering क्या? So people used to say this way. But I was very, I came back home, I got the result, and in front of my door, I started crying before entering my house. My parents were not at home. My mom was teaching; she was in the school. My brother was also in school. Papa कहीं गए हुए थे काम पे. There was nobody at home. मैं दरवाजे के बाहर बैठ के I'm just sobbing so much that I failed in my life. It's like a thing that because it was built कि you have never failed, so failure से बहुत डर लगता था. So I had not told my parents that I had flunked. So what happened? You give so that exam you have to clear. I think in the alternate semester, like first sem में अगर fail हुए तो third sem में वो paper दोबारा से you can give it. And you have to pay some amount like $500 or $1,000 for that exam to do that exam again. जो भी कहते हैं उसको back आना या I don't remember क्या कहते हैं उसको. तो I complete, yeah. So you save the money. I saved the money, whatever you used to get for metro and all these things for traveling. I saved the money. I gave the money on my own. I did not tell my parents that I flunked. And the third semester came and my father went to drop me to that place जहाँ से हम बहुत दूर जाते थे खेतों में पेपर था हमारा कोई HMR करके कॉलेज में. So and my father went there and my father is like, oh, your friend has not come. उसका एग्जाम नहीं है. Then somebody over there told my father, नहीं ये तो सप्ली वाला एग्जाम है. And I was like, my father was like, he did not say anything to me. Of course, I was going for the exam. I went for the exam. Now the tension was not of my exam. The tension was that my father is going to beat me up when I'm going back home. And telling me, you lied to me that you had it. So yeah, I went back home. They were chill. They did not say anything. So like, you could have told us. We're not telling you. It's not like a big mistake. So yeah, that was a fear. But yeah, I cleared my BTech. Then I made a point I'm not going to get any supply. So like how many? I don't know how many 48 subjects we do in 4 years. I cleared them all. Even if it was with the grade 33% to be at the pass line. Because there were some exams which were like too bad. Like I remember there was this subject called DSP. Digital Signal Processing. Usme, it was a thing that everybody used to get flunked in that, but I made sure that I'm not going to get it back. So it's very disheartening. Here I got into a campus placement. It's okay, right? I can speak, or you want me to concise?
No. I am enjoying your story. Actually,
Fine, I speak a lot. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's part of my job. Okay.
Yeah. I'm loving the way you are telling your story, like honestly, and you're sharing your fears and insecurities. So that's thank you for doing that.
Yeah, it's going back the lane, so I'm just remembering all these things. Then yes, of course, I got into a campus placement. I got into a company which is now called DCE. It was called CSC earlier. It was in Noida, and I got into cloud computing. No, not cloud computing. I think mainframes. Karke hota. Now the point was not getting like a good package, but average decent package I was getting over there at that point of time. And out of us, like pehle to Infosys le jati hai kuch log, TCS comes up and you just pull up 200 people and they got it. So I did not get into TCS, I did not get into Infosys, I did not get into all these mass recruiter companies, and I felt again like a failure. Like again, I was depressed and all these things. But then when I got into this company, because this was a very high, you can say, giving a good amount of package, and this was recruiting on a very less amount of cases. Like we had 4-5 rounds in terms of freshers, considering we were freshers altogether. So only 40 of us out of 2,000 people, 40 of us got into that. So I felt a little lucky, and I was daydreaming that I'm going to wear this iCard. I'm like, oh, I got into PC and all that stuff. But I also remember the question at the end, what this guy asked me. He asked me that the question was, what algorithm does Google use to search in the search engine? How does a page come on top of everything? So yeah, I remember I told him the answer, but I did not know the name. So I remember that conversation. So I felt like I'm not going to get it, because whatever he has asked me, I'm not able to answer. But then I think he liked the way I was explaining, and I was not saying that I don't know. So I thought that was one thing which made him feel like, okay, she can, at least she can learn, and considering that. But all in all, I did not go for that job. Like I might have gone for one day or something. I did not go and sign it. The reason being because it was too far from my place. And I felt that ab mujhe job nahi karna, I want to do masters. I want to do my engineering further. Like I want to study more. And that's why I was very reluctant on joining something. So I was like, it was too far from my place. I'm not going to come like 9 o'clock in the evening and 10 o'clock I'm reaching home. I will not get time for myself. So I'm going to join my masters. And yes, I did give my exam for my masters. And I did my masters in technology. But jab tak iska result aata, I got a job. Like my friend was working in one company which was near to my place. It was in Moti Nagar, and that company was paying a larger amount. Like at that point, it was paying like 5 or 6 lakhs, where the average salary or the package was 3.5 or something around that. So here it was giving 5 to 6 lakhs, and their first priority was first criteria of getting it. Do you have an Indian passport? So मैंने बोला ये हुई ना बात. So I went there. I gave my that this is what I've done, and I've done my bachelor's, and she said, the HR, I remember, she said, we don't take freshers. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
So I said, yeah, but my friend is already working. She's referred me and all that stuff. She said, okay, fine, we'll talk about it. But we have that you need to have an Indian passport right away. So उन्होंने मुझे कहीं भेजा नहीं, but they wanted. मैंने बोला अब मेरा खाता खुलेगा. Like now it's the time. मेरा passport कब का बना हुआ है? It has 0 things of that. I want to stamp कि हाँ है ना, take it. So I joined that company, but meanwhile I also got my master's का result. I got the CET का result, and I was getting like full time, or I could do part time. So full time was for 2 years, where I used to also get stipend.
Okay.
And the salary, my fees was also less. I used to get 12,000, 15,000 every month, I guess, if I do full time. And if I used to do like part-time, it was a 3 years course rather than a 2 years course. And it used to happen every Saturday, Sunday that you have to physically go to the college and then take that degree. So उसमें stipend नहीं था, fees भी उसकी थोड़ी higher थी. So I made a thing like, okay, fine, I'm going to do both of these together. So
Okay.
weekly I used to go to the office, and Saturday, Sunday I used to go for my masters. And then I made a point कि job तो मैंने यूं ही करनी है, मैं छोड़ दूंगी इसको. This is not my thing. I don't want to do job. This is not my like. I want to do this teaching career, learning wala stuff more. Like I want to learn more and I want to study more. So I was more concentrated in the initial months with this thing. But then I saw that it's more interesting here because you're physically, whatever you're learning there, you're actually implementing these things in this environment. And the business ka tarika thoda alag hota hai, and it's a very new environment for somebody who's coming from a college thing. So yeah, it landed me. My first job itself was in big data. I had 2 options, Java or big data में था. Java, I hate Java. Okay. So I thought कि यार big data मुझे पता नहीं है क्या, फिर Java तो नहीं होगा. But surprise, big data is done in Java, which was like यार इससे तो I just got like पीछा छुड़वाया था, and then it came up onto this. But yeah, it's a whole different story altogether how I got into it. But my career started with big data itself. So that was it. Yeah.
Okay, so like it was not pre-planned or a lot of thinking, just you went with the flow.
Yeah, I went with the flow. Whatever came into I was touchwood, I was lucky like that it came in my hands, and I did not even know what big data was, and at that point of time, and I just got into it. So it was fun. And this best part is because masters I did my master's in computer science only. At the end of the thing, you have to give 3 years. You have to give a thesis. You have to give a report or something. My report was in big data. My thesis was in big data. So my job helped me a lot in doing this degree and all that stuff. So yeah, it was like it happened for the best. Like yeah, it happened for the best.
Have you any plans to carry forward your
study?
Yeah, like doing the PhD or some more research?
I wanted to do PhD at one point of time. Then I realized that अब मुझसे ना retaining power मेरी इतनी नहीं है. Like in the end years of my masters also, I was just going and giving my exams, like reading not even a day before in the morning. अगर 12 बजे का exam है, 9-10 बजे पढ़ना, हाँ ठीक है कहानी लिखनी है, do something or the other, I just have to pass. So I was very not demotivated because my inclination was towards my job now rather than completing my masters. So it was कि हाँ यार जल्दी खत्म हो. But yeah, I wanted to do PhD at one point of time in my life. More than me, my mom wants me to do PhD. कि PhD करने थोड़ा सा वो होता है. But I feel like my current job, is also like of training and consultancy where I have to keep on studying. Like any new version comes up, again you have to study. Anything new comes up, I am again studying and giving my certifications and everything. So I'm anyway studying. So it feels like now I don't have that energy. I don't have that retaining power thanks to social media. But yes, I feel like that dedication where I could sit for like 2-3 hours without any disturbance is very difficult now. So yeah, I would like to do some small course which is inclined towards what my data science and all these things are. But doing a PhD will be like, I don't know. I'm not forcing in the future.
Okay. How relevant is a degree? Like I used to also have some kind of thoughts like कि masters कर लूँ क्या यार, PhD कर लूँ क्या? But the amount of time I have to spend on building the products and the engineering stuff. So I think मेरे को लगता है कि नहीं यार, वैसे इतना पढ़ना पड़ता है, इतना सीखना पड़ता है, रोज नया कुछ ना कुछ आता ही रहता है. Like right now we are working on a AI-based virtual assistant, and luckily I have been leading the product.
Nice.
So every day there is something new, a new research paper, and some company has done something. So I like मेरा college कभी खत्म ही नहीं हुआ है.
नहीं होता.
That's yeah.
Right. I mean,
So how relevant is I know it is good to at least go to a bachelor's college क्योंकि वहाँ पे आपको environment मिलता है, you make friends and एक किसी एक environment में कैसे काम करना है वो सीखने को मिलता है.
Correct.
That's an important part of your life, I think, going to college. But after that, how important is it to have a master's or a PhD degree according to you? What do you think?
see, honestly, I did my master's and I thought that it is going to help me over here. I did my master's in computer science from India itself. तो लोग
Okay.
कहते हैं कि उसका कोई फायदा नहीं होता है, all that stuff. But मुझे फायदा हुआ in terms of my own learning. Job में हुआ नहीं हुआ. Honestly telling you, I have not even received my degree yet. मतलब मैं लेने भी नहीं गई. तो मुझे ऐसा नहीं हुआ कि कहीं पे मुझे दिखाना पड़ा. Of course, my mark sheet was there, so I showed them that I have done my masters. It's not changed much. Yes, if you do MBA, if you do this, then of course the package rises a lot. MBAs को लेते हैं कहीं वो management वाले area में, they will prefer people from the MBA background and everything. But considering we are technical people and everything, our exposure to the products, the techniques and everything, certifications will help. So when you were saying, AI mein you're doing the leading product, I mean, that itself is a degree which you have. Ki haan, I am in AI pe kaam kiya. Rather than theory of that, I just have worked on this. This is my product. You can go to any other organization, bigger organization, and say, ye kaam kiya. This is my product. And maybe if you want to just add the cherry on the cake, you can do a certification in AI from one of the whatever certification you feel like is relevant in this area. Study karna, I think it's more of your own discipline to become as a student again and then learning, because ultimately you have to implement it somewhere.
Yeah.
So I would suggest go for some short courses which do not take much of your time. Like I remember this company called Great Learning or something kuch the. So they provide a 6 months course alongside with your job for data science and everything, and then you get like a degree after 6 months. So NMIS bhi karta hai, bahut sare institutes sab karne lage hain that along with your job. But again, I felt in the training career, like a lot of people come up to me and say कि हम certification कर ले, हम masters कर ले, हम ये कर ले. I would say whatever your niche is, try to do certifications or something if you want to do in that, and more of implementation. Because theory is not something in technical department. So yeah, it's that.
एंड आई थिंक एक और कंसर्न रहता है एग्जाम लिखने का, लाइक प्रैक्टिकल इम्प्लीमेंटेशन तो तुम कर सकते हो, लाइक यू will read the documentation, you will apply something, it will fail and you will search for like what is the error coming. So I enjoy that, but to sit, read and write an exam, that's hassle.
Totally different, because
Yeah.
जो आप theory में पढ़ के, like I remember I was telling big data architecture. I was teaching about the big data architecture to one of the employees and everything, and said that this is what book tells you. When you come onto the real life, it is not this way कि हाँ simple एक नोट लगा दिया, इधर नोट लगा दिया, क्लस्टर बन गया, 5 नोट लगा के, नहीं होता. You have to have a backup, उसका ये होता है, मतलब yeah, that is there. Of course, you start from the bookish knowledge of it, and when it comes to implementation, it's completely all the different way. So that is what implementation nowadays is more important for us technical people. हाँ, managerial में जा रहे हो तो that's a different story and all that stuff. But for technical people like us, I think it's more of doing the task.
I think the projects you are doing and the companies you are joining becomes the portfolio.
Exactly.
Like portfolio is important for you.
Important.
For us.
For my friend, she was working in a renowned company. She left that job क्योंकि project अच्छा नहीं था. She said it's not adding value to my thing. I'm 6 months से मैं बस कुछ नहीं, मतलब SQL का statement चला रही हूँ एक, ये क्या है? So she's like, यार मेरा तो waste हो रहा है ना time. Even if they're paying us something, then she opted for something else. So project matters a lot, I feel, whatever your project is. Yeah.
Okay, so we have been talking about big data and data science. So first of all, if you have to give the definition of big data to a 5-year-old, how will you explain?
Oh God, this is a question I ask. But like in my trainings, I tell you, what is your understanding? Explain me like I'm a 5-year-old. What is that?
This is my favorite question.
So, yeah, I know that. Explain it to like I am 5-year-old. Yeah. So consider it I always stick with this analogy. Like, let's say, for example, if I 5 me 15 प्यार ठीक है थोड़ा 15
Okay.
so it's like if I'm sending you मैंने तुम्हें एक game not game, let's say I'm sending you a file of some song I'm sending you. Okay, now this song is of like some amount of 2 MB or something, and it's very easily to be transferable and all that stuff. Whereas on the other hand, कोई भी medium से मेरी WhatsApp पे मैंने song भेजा download करके, not the link, I'm sending you a downloaded song and then I'm sending you 2 MB का song है, ठीक है आ गया. Then then you say कि अच्छा यार ये तो बहुत अच्छा song है, now can you send me the movie also? I want to watch a movie tonight. अब now movie is like say 20 GBs, and if I send through WhatsApp is not able to वो नहीं transfer करेगा because it's a huge amount of data. तो 20 GB WhatsApp के लिए बिग डेटा कि मेरे पास इतना सोर्स ही नहीं भेजने के. Now you will find out different mediums. Maybe you will send through mail. Mail में भी limitation होता है. Mail के लिए भी that 20 GB is a limitation. Maybe you send through Drive. Now Drive can send. तो Drive के लिए वो 20 GB big data नहीं. So all in all, if I have to explain, it's like big data is something when I do not have sources. Big data is actually a problem. जो लोग बोलते हैं ना कि हम big data पे काम कर रहे हैं, they're actually solving the problem of big data. So big data is like मैंने हाथ खड़े कर दिए, मेरे पास तो भाई नहीं है source भेजने का कुछ.
The data is too big.
It's too big. So yeah, people come up कि what is big? I mean, what is big in terms of the data which is there? तो you can say कि यार big तो 10,000 भी है, मैं बोलूँ भाई 25,000 भी है, कोई बोले 10 million, तो इसका कोई threshold नहीं. There's no threshold कि after this my data becomes big. It's like when you do not have ample amount of resources to handle the data, then it becomes big data. So that is how you explain for that.
Okay. And what would be the difference between big data and data science?
It's huge difference. People don't find it. Like data science is like a big umbrella. Big data is just solving the data, like solving the big data in the sense कि what did I just say? Sorry, let me rephrase it. Big data is a problem and we find solutions to that problem. Data science is an umbrella, under which like you have AI, you have robotics, you have machine learning and all these parts, which are algorithms that help you find meaning from that amount of data. जैसे अगर मैंने आपको suppose करो ये videos है, this is your 4th episode. If I send you all these 4 episodes which are like let's say 10 GBs each, तो ये big data है, you need storage to store that. So you will find storage areas, you will make it maybe put on AWS or cloud or something. Data science का जो branch है that will help you in finding patterns या अगला predict करने के लिए कि अगला कितने लंबा जाएगा आपका ये जो पॉडकास्ट जाएगा या इसमें से मीनिंगफुल इनपुट्स निकाल सकते हैं. ठीक है, what all have been talking about in this particular podcast, what it is Prabhanshu's podcast is all about. So that is this processing wala part. Big data is storage one, major storage one. So yeah, that's major.
Like since you are giving the example of podcast, let me improvise something. लाइक इसमें क्या होता है कि चंक्स में डेटा अपलोड होता है. लाइक राइट नाउ द लाइव स्ट्रीमिंग जो है वो उतनी क्वालिटी की नहीं होती है. आफ्टर वी हैव डन द ब्रॉडकास्ट द चंक्स जो है वहाँ पे इकट्ठे होते रहते हैं. सो दिस इज द पार्ट ऑफ दैट इज कमिंग फ्रॉम बिग डेटा. एंड उसके बाद क्या होता है जब पूरा एपिसोड रिकॉर्ड हो जाता है ना, तो द सॉफ्टवेयर विल सजेस्ट सम ऑफ द क्लिप्स लाइक दिस वाज द बेस्ट.
Correct.
Yeah, this was the best moments, and you can cut this clip and post the clips to the Instagram. So that part is from the data science, and the storing part is the big data.
Correct. That's a great example. I mean, that's the most easiest example which we can talk about right now. So yeah. Great.
Okay, enough of the definition. Let's come back to your role because you've been doing a lot. So how does a typical day look like in your life?
For like, this podcast, I just woke up like 1 hour back and I'm like, so it's not same, honestly, because I do not.
I mean, I'm asking the question in the context of like, what are your roles and responsibilities?
Correct, I get it. My roles and responsibilities in terms of, so first of all, my trainings generally happen in the time zone. Either it's online. If it's online, then it's on the time zone of work where the client is present. Like last week, I was taking up a training, this week only, not last week. This week, I was taking up a training where the clients were from Cape Town. So up my time zone from 12:30 to 8:30 was my training timing. So now because of that, it changes. Like if I have to cook my meals and everything, then I cook in the morning. There has been time where I'm taking Singapore training. So Singapore training starts from 6 a.m. in the morning and then it goes from 2 p.m. IST. So ऐसे करके you have to manage the time zones and everything. If it's on the location, तो फिर वहाँ तो 9 to 5 के हिसाब से चलता है. What my roles and responsibilities, if I talk about job, is whenever I come onto trainings and training thing, is just giving training. That's it. Whatever the materials and everything have been provided, whatever is the expectation of the client from this particular thing. Like there are clients that come up with the fact of we want to do certification. There are clients that come up already implemented hai, we just want to learn how things work in this, what are the technologies and where. There are clients which come, like I remember a client was like a customer, we say he was 10 years into accountancy. 10 years, बंदे को variable नहीं पता क्या है, he wanted to learn variable. So it's very difficult sometimes to get audiences from a different background altogether and accumulate and उनको basic से शुरू करवाना on a higher level. तो फिर वहाँ पे responsibility अलग आ जाएगी. That you have to teach them like literally like a 5-year-old कि variables क्या है and all that stuff. So my roles change depending upon, because it's a client-facing thing. My roles change depending upon what my client is, like what is his objective or her objective, and so majorly it is that. And,
So you are associated with a company, or you are running your own firm, or like freelance?
I was working with a company. It's been 6 or 7 months. I'm working on my own now. I'm working on my own.
So what are the challenges working in a company and working on your own?
Working in a company, I did not get time to do my own stuff, of course. There were sometimes, because it's a traveling kind of thing, I had to travel during holidays. Like there has been time where I'm not home on Diwali, on Holi, or all these things. Of course, it's not that of a limitation, but yes, you must have a say in that. कि जाना तो जाना ही पड़ेगा because job. But यहाँ पर when you're doing freelancing, of course, the pros are कि यार you can say yes and no anytime you want. The cons are the huge part, because it's a filled industry of trainers and reputed, and everybody has good amount of experience, like 13, 14 years of experience in people doing this. So it's very difficult to, attain you be in the industry, people still notice who you are, still making a mark. And the second thing is that you have to be updated every time. Kuch piche nahi chhod sakte. Like I remember, so you work in AI, right? I know AI. Ab new cheez hai Gen AI. Now Gen AI pe I have to work. Then Gen AI ke baad something else will come. Like currently I'm working on that the ChatGPT and DALL-E, which is there. I also have to work with Mid-Journey. So ab uska dobara I have to keep on learning. Like every month something new is coming, so I have to keep on learning or to be the brain. So that is both has its own pros and cons.
Since we have came to Gen AI. So how are you seeing right now a lot of buzz is around the AGI? So how do you see how is it happening? And
see when big data Hadoop, so when we say Hadoop and Spark came up also, it was a big buzz. Everybody just wanted to be on that thing. Now Spark is also dying, which I say the Hadoop part is also dying. And
reason being
these new technologies have come up. Tableau आ गया और चीजें Splunk आ गया, Flink आ गया और जो tools हैं वो सब आ गए. So that is one of the reason it will die. It's a very short-lived technology. Somebody might, जो भी bugs हैं उसको refrain करके somebody might make a new tool and all that stuff. So I feel like AI is there in the industry. It is going to be in the industry for next couple of years also. Yes, it has died on not creative part, but it's I don't know. It's both ways. I have made music because I was doing a play. I needed music. तो मैंने म्यूजिक कंपोजर को पैसे देने के बजाय, which is wrong, मैंने try किया AI पे म्यूजिक बनाने. And I gave it a theme कि it's a dark theme, I want this and I want this, and he made a snippet of music for 1-2 minutes. And I felt okay, it was not much of it. मेरे को कोई coding भी नहीं करनी पड़ी. I did not have to write like a full-fledged Java code or something, and it's giving me the result in. I did not have to have a music composer, a singer or something or the other to just make small amount of music. So in that cases, it is helping a lot. It's like anybody can make use of it. Like if you say our parents nowadays are just like, hey Alexa, play this music. उनको क्या पता technology अंदर क्या चल रही है, but it's helping them a lot, in this thing. So it is there. Will it has its adverse effects? Yes, on the creative side, on terms of jobs and everything. Again, this is a very statement कि AI हमारी jobs ले लेगा. Somewhere down the line, it is true. Even if you deny the fact, somewhere down the line, it is kind of true. So, yeah, I am like, I don't know, how are we going to cope with it?
Yeah, actually it is hard to predict, and there are a lot of uncertainties even for the people who are building that technology. I was seeing an article जिसमें ये था कि Google has to reassign their 30,000 employees just because of the AI and automations.
They are still reassigning.
Yeah, they have to reassign, or they have to lay off 30,000 people.
My God.
Yeah.
My God.
So I was reading a book that named as AI Superpowers, written by Kai Fu Lee. तो उसमें वो काफ़ी सारे पैरामीटर्स वो डिस्कस करते हैं कि हाउ चाइना इज़ बिकमिंग द AI सुपर पावर एंड हाउ AI इज़ गोइंग टू चेंज आवर लाइफ. तो उसमें एक बहुत अच्छा जो वो कोट करते हैं कि ऐसा नहीं है कि टेक्नोलॉजी ने हमें रिप्लेस नहीं किया है. फ्रॉम द डॉन ऑफ द टाइम टेक्नोलॉजी इज़ रिप्लेसिंग. व्हेन फर्स्ट एग्रीकल्चर रिवॉल्यूशन केम तो सब कुछ बदल गया. उसके बाद इंडस्ट्रियल रिवॉल्यूशन केम. बट द थिंग इज़ दैट AI की वजह से जो चेंज आ रहे हैं वो इतने रैपिड उसमें आ रहे हैं कि दे इज़ हार्ड टू कोप अप विद दोज चेंजेस. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि टेक्नोलॉजी ने हमें रिप्लेस नहीं किया है. हिस्ट्री में टेक्नोलॉजी हैज़ ऑलवेज रिप्लेस्ड द ह्यूमन जॉब्स, बट वी हैड टाइम टू कोप अप विद दोज चेंजेस. In this current field of AI, the only problem is that we don't have time to cope up with the changes. Yeah.
अब ये देखो ना, the art I was seeing, there was this I don't know, mid journey में होता है वाले किस में होता है कि art recreate हो जाता, like they can just like paint and everything. So I'm like, all these paintings which are at the back, somebody drew it from their hand, दो तीन दिन लगा के किया होगा, and now you just get like painting like this way. So where is people are making music on इसका आवाज डाल के इसका music composition is going on, lyrics are going on. So yeah, it's very dangerous.
Again there are two sets of people, like जो बहुत ही ज़्यादा, I won't say two, it's actually three. Like जो एक बहुत ही ज़्यादा फेवर में कि नहीं जल्दी कुछ बढ़िया प्रोडक्ट बनाओ, कुछ और चेंजेस लाओ. एंड देयर इज अ सेट ऑफ पीपल जो ये कह रहे हैं कि नहीं, वी शुड पुट सम रिस्ट्रेन ऑन this development. And the third type of people are, we don't know what is going to happen.
तो वो क्या रहा है? दो वक्त की रोटी मिल जाती है तो वो खुश है. No, I'm just saying that you said the point. People, there are certain set of people who are like कि हाँ जल्दी product बनाओ. If you see carefully, they are. I don't want to bring that point, but there will be people who are not on the creative side of any form. Like जो creative person होगा ना, जिसने मेहनत करके खुद करे, like they'll be very against this factor because they've just practiced a lot. अब मैं कल को गिटार सीखा है मैंने, और I just somebody else, I'm getting a guitar note from a machine. It's very difficult. And on the other hand, people who are in favor of it, like for me, it is very favorable because now I don't have to write a code. अब मैं उसको बस एक problem दे दूँ कि okay, this is the problem and this is the solution. Write a code in this language. It's gonna give me a code, and here and there I can just make some changes and it's ready. I don't have to learn Java again. I don't have to learn C++ again. So, sorry, I just added on to this point. My brother, my younger brother, cousin, he's also doing engineering.
Okay.
So he was, तो वो तो बिल्कुल डिसइंटरेस्टेड है पढ़ाई में. ये वाला जो इंडियन एजुकेशन सिस्टम के हिसाब से है, he is very creative on other factors, like he has great knowledge touchwood physics में, he loves physics and all these things which are implementation की reasoning है, refraction क्यों हो रहा है, you know. When he goes to this, and I truly believe in that fact, I don't say it to him though, the fact is that in the education system रट के आकर लिखना, ठीक है, तो वो कह रहे हैं यार ये क्यों मैं रट रहा हूँ जब ये चीजें अब ना तो वो चीजें अब चेंज हो रही हैं, यूज हो रही हैं basically, and these are the things that it's already there. Like if I have to write a code on polymorphism, I know that there is a code. Why should I learn and do it and everything, which is, I somewhat believe it's true. You should be implementing these things. You should be learning about, like I feel like people should teach in the education system about GST, tax कैसे भरना है, ये सब चीजें सिखानी चाहिए, because this is something which is gonna be used more. हमारे 8 सब्जेक्ट हैं, उसमें से एक सब्जेक्ट उसका क्या EVS. Engineering में he has a subject called EVS.
Yes.
Which should be there, but again implementation, make them do the EVS वाला part, you know, make them कि हाँ plant उगाओ भाई वहाँ जाओ. So
I studied one more subject that is called human values.
Oh yeah.
Actually, I actually enjoyed the lectures. Like me and my friends used to sit and listen कि क्या ज्ञान चल रहा है यार, आज तो मजा ही आ गया. बहुत
implementation कोई नहीं कर रहा है, but yeah, it's need to be tweaked a little bit. मैं नहीं कह रही कि गलत है, but थोड़ा सा उनको ना
we have to redesign our education system, since we have talked about the jobs and the replacements. So in the same book AI Superpowers, I will highly recommend to read that book. वो काफी मतलब graphically explain करते हैं कि what types of jobs are there that can be replaced by AI. So he drew 4 quadrants, and I don't remember the exact figure, but if you read the book, I'm sure you will enjoy the book. Okay, can you elaborate on the type of project that you work and the tools that you use to fulfill that project?
So I work in the section of the big data trainings and everything. I can tell the production company which I was working with, it's been like a year now which I work on that. Here what I teach more, or product which I work on, is Hadoop. I work on Spark, I work on Hive, Impala, Pig, there's HDFS, there's S3, AWS, and all these other tools. Hue is there, all these tools which are combination of the Hadoop environment. So these are the major tools which I work on. Kafka is there, Spark Streaming is there. Then there's a new tool which has come out called this Kafka and Flume ka kuch unhone combination banke Flink.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, these are multiple tools that I work on majorly. And in my previous, like in the production company also, I was working on these tools.
Okay, so which sectors or industries you think have seen the most increase in demand of such skills, like big data is going to change the industry? What are the industries and sectors you are seeing?
If I talk about 5 years down the lane, earlier it was only bigger organizations like Facebook, and actually there were certain products that were only built by Facebook. So Google was the first one to build up this product and everything sell across. So Amazon, Facebook, all these bigger companies were using. But now I'm seeing a shift in the banking department.
Okay.
I'm seeing a lot of banking people coming on to, though if people are knowing about this factor, big data is not just structured data, it's more like an unstructured.
Yeah.
And consider bank में तो you always get structured amount of data, like name, account number, ये सब आएगा. उनके पास unstructured data इतना नहीं आता होगा. So earlier the story is that they were very reluctant to come on to big data. They were like, हम Oracle से काम चला रहे हैं, we don't want to shift it. Why should we shift? हमारा data ही नहीं है इतना, या हमारे पास structured ही data है, why would shift it? But I'm seeing a rapid change.
According to a survey, most of the data on internet, like 90% of the data is unstructured.
Is unstructured.
And that's why Hadoop was invented, because of the...
True. That was the reason. That was the major reason, that 90% is structured and semi-structured, or unstructured and semi-structured. Structured data though, like बहुत limited है. That's why banking people were very reluctant to come onto this. But now what I'm seeing is there is a huge shift. Like The recent company which I was working was, they were also working on the banking thing. They said कि now my data is increasing, that a small SQL query, they were working on Informatica. They said a small SQL query took them 45 minutes to give them the result. So wo hai, they have to, now come on to this thing. So that's why I feel the banking sectors is the growth which I've seen coming on to this.
So moving forward, let's talk about money in big data. So-
Every time I tell anyone ना कि I work in this, फिर तो आप बहुत कमाते हो ना, बहुत पैसा होता है. Should I say or you want to continue with the question?
No.
Okay.
The ball is on your court.
पैसा है, like ये भी है, depending upon what kind of work you're doing. So I am into training and consultancy. My work is not as on the project कि वहाँ पे proper implementation करना, rather than it's more like telling them कि this could be done, this could be an alternative solution, this will optimize your working and efficient and कैसे बनेगा. So my money kind of criteria is very on a basic level, on an average level, and currently I'm satisfied. Sometimes I'm not satisfied. There has been times when I'm not getting any training. I'm feeling like I'm saving even the auto money कि मैं पैदल चल जाती हूँ पैसे चालू. तो ऐसा भी एक टाइम आता है. और कई बार जब आपके पास पैसा आ जाता है तो लाइक हाँ चल यार आज तो स्टारबक्स में कॉफी पीते हैं.
आज पार्टी तेरा भाई देगा.
पार्टी देगा. तो फिर ऐसे सीन्स होते हैं. But yes, if you are fully working on big data science, there is good amount of money in the industry. But it's like there is a lot of demand. Honestly, it is a lot of demand in UK at this moment. UK is they're ready to pay anything. And another country is Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia Indians को ऐसे लेना चाहते हैं कि आप मुंह बोलो and they're ready to pay. क्योंकि उनके पास पैसा है बस implementation के लिए लोग. So a lot of my peers, even they are very reluctant in going. They're going to Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia honestly has changed. Like it has changed the game. They are making a new country city जो भी बोलो within themselves, which will be like जैसे like वो अपने अंदर एक new city बना. It's called Neom, and like it's amazing. And people feel कि यार वो अभी थोड़ा restricted है, ऐसा है नहीं है. Saudi Arabia has changed. It's gonna become the new Dubai. So yeah, I mean it's there, and it's अंधा पैसा जिसको हम कहते हैं, वो देने को ready है. It's just that they want people to be implementing it. So yeah, there is money. There is.
But you have to have.
मेरे पास नहीं है भाई, मैं ट्रेनिंग में हूँ, पर पैसा है. Yeah.
But I mean, you have to have the relevant skills
Exactly.
to go there. If you have the skills, companies are will be standing at your doors to pay any amount.
There are.
Because
I mean, people say कि अभी नहीं है, jobs नहीं है. मैं सच में recession तो चल रहा है. ऐसा नहीं है कि jobs recession नहीं है. Recession बहुत तेजी से है. It's just that आपका skill set इतना caliber इतना होना चाहिए that you are able to crack these jobs. So.
Okay, so we were talking about the skills. So what would be the must-have skills to be a nerd in big data? Like top three. I know because there can be a lot of skills. You need to learn SQL. You also need to learn NoSQL, and you have to be good at networking, computer networking. But what are the top three skills?
First is the networking part of it. You need to be really good with Linux, and networking is one of the thing. Second is Linux, because the whole Hadoop thing works on Linux, and third part is good with object-oriented programming. So because since if you're working with Spark and everything, it works on the OOPS concept, so you have to be really, really good.
I will add two more things, like you should be good at reading documentations and and you should be good at debugging.
Debugging, yes. Debugging, so what you have just mentioned is more like product based, because these are tools which I mentioned, because I work in tools, not in the product. It's an add-on which is great, which is really great.
Okay. So you have already mentioned that must have skills. Or there's some nice to have skills or have to have skills that if you have those skills, it's an add-on. But if you don't have, you will go.
SQL is there if you
Okay.
know, because Hive Impala works on SQL, so you need to have that. And Java, basic Python, because it runs on Python as well. So a little bit of Java. There's this called as performance tuning. Performance tuning कैसे करते हैं और that's. If you're working on streaming data, then you should know how streaming data works. Generally, we do it on cloud. So if you know a little bit about cloud and everything, that's also an add-on. कि तुम्हें पता है कि stream होकर cloud पे कैसे जाता है data. So yeah, these are basic things which I'm not saying you should know. It will come along with it, but if you know that it's an add-on, it's an easier part for you. But yeah, networking must. Like you should know computer networks and everything. You should know Linux very, very well. Because debugging itself happens on the Linux platform and all that stuff, and object-oriented.
I think you have already mentioned that networking, but how relevant is coding? Like, what is the importance of knowing coding to be in big data? Yeah.
Since we use Spark, and Spark is a tool which uses coding, which uses Scala and Python as that. So I think you can do it in Scala or in Python, but it is important. Even when you're working with Kafka mein you make producer consumer, like one is giving the data, one is consuming. These are also made in Java language. So most of the tools, if you revolve around, will be working on the Java oriented language or Scala language or Python language. So coding is very important. Nahi to kya hoga? Like you become just an admin. So basically Hadoop has 3 verticals to it. Or big data has 3 verticals. One is admin, one is analyst, one is the developer. The analyst and developer are somewhat similar, somewhat on the basic of ki unko, obviously they have to make the code, they have to write, find insights out of that data, SQL query aana chahiye, Java aana chahiye, and all these things. Now admin is one person जिसका ये कुछ relevant नहीं है, उसको सिर्फ Linux आना चाहिए और networking आना चाहिए. Like he has to build up the cluster. He has to build up where the nodes will go, how much resources are required and everything. So if you go as an Hadoop admin, then you don't require this. If you are just into developer in this, then this works for you. If you are somebody from an admin IT or admin team, then you can go for the Hadoop admin.
Okay, so if someone has to, start from scratch, like if there's a student who is in engineering, or if a student who is in later year of his school, so what is the right, or someone who wants to switch from one role to another, so what are the resources and where to start, and what should you consider as your background?
Okay. Your background, of course, should be like the prerequisite of this is that you should be aware of little bit SQL. You should know about basic classes or objects में difference पता होना चाहिए, methods कैसे use करते हैं, वही object oriented, और Linux आना चाहिए. Linux, SQL and your Java are prerequisites. Basic Java, not much. Basic Java should be a prerequisite. Then, if you want to start your career with that, there is this vendor called Cloudera, which I work with.
Yeah.
So Cloudera is one of the biggest vendor of your Hadoop and big data, all these things. Of course, many more vendors have come across, but this was the first one which was created, first one in the industry. You can actually go there. There are free tutorials available, free PDFs available and everything. And if you go through that, that's amazing. For documentations, I will always refer to Apache. Apache के tools are majorly ये सारे. So Hive, if you want to study about an Apache Hive, you search for it, you'll get a proper documentation of it, and then you'll learn about it. Then there is Spark, Apache Spark, and then you read about it. So yeah, you can start your career from there. Do the prerequisite, go to the Cloudera site, check all what is happening over there, and go for the Apache site.
We also talked about some certifications. So can you mention some certifications? Like I think IBM has a lot of certifications that are very relevant in the industry. So can you name some?
There are a lot of certifications which have come up now. Cloudera has its own, IBM has its own. I think many other Coursera वगैरह ये तो basic वाले जो भी दे रहे हैं. So IBM, I've done both of them. For start, you can go with IBM first because it's more on an easier level and it's more like it's not practical oriented. Like it's not what you can say business scenario नहीं देते वो आपको MCQ kind of questions you get over there. Whereas on the other hand, the Cloudera one holds a very strong relevance because it's one of the biggest in the market, and if you are Cloudera certified, it adds a leverage to your resume or your profile. The reason being because it's a very tough exam. I don't want to dishearten you, but it's like a it's like a practical business case scenario which has been given to you, and you have to write the code and everything within 2 hours, and it's just 10 questions. That's it. और लगता है 2 घंटे में 10 questions तो कर लेंगे, but वो MCQ नहीं है. They're like business scenarios which you have to solve. And so I would say that if you want to start, kick yourself, give some, I can go with the IBM first, and then if you feel like, then you can go with the Cloudera.
I think we have covered a lot of things. So do you have something on your mind that that must have been discussed in this podcast?
Not at the moment. I think we discussed most of the things. And
okay.
Most of the things I think.
Okay, so I will just end the podcast.
Yeah.
And I will leave it
As it is.
with your no, I think I have planned a lot of sections, but we have mostly covered everything. Maybe not in the order, but we have.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the last, I will just leave it up to you, because I like to end my podcast with guest messages, so it's on your hands. So any message that would you would like to give to our audience, and we are good to go.
Considering we are shooting, like we're doing it on 31st of December, so first of all, a very happy new year to everybody in the coming years, and maybe we will have less technologies to study and more technologies to work across. And thank you to Pramanchu. Literally, it's been like we have been chasing the aaj karte hain, nahi karte hain, and but thank you for doing this. Obviously bringing across also, even having an idea about doing this kind of thing, because we see a lot of podcasts which are happening around, but I think very niche on the data science and data analytics part is very less. Or I haven't seen less, I've just seen yours, which is there. And it's interesting to know about people who are not from this side of the industry and basically on this industry, and what are their thoughts. So it feels special to be talking about it. नहीं तो हम सिर्फ actors को ही देख रहे हैं या influencers को ही देख रहे हैं talking about that sense. And thing which I want to leave about is that I would say that for me, wish on the new year is for everybody, like he has recommended me a book. I am definitely going to read about it, and so I want to learn more. I want to keep on learning, and I hope everybody keeps on learning, because learning should not end. I feel like it's more interesting that way. So I'm very impressed by the fact that you write blogs, you started your podcast, you do work in AI, you started books. And I'm like, मैं क्या कर रही हूँ यहाँ पे बैठ के Netflix देख रही हूँ. So I'm really impressed and I'm inspired by you. So thank you, Pramanchu. It's thanks very much.
It's same for me. Like when I was researching your profile, and I saw that she's also doing the Hadoop, she's also in big data, she's also doing data science. So एक चीज है कि हम हमेशा खुद को underestimate करते हैं, but I learned a lot.
I'm really inspired by this. Like ये thought मेरे दिमाग में भी आता है कि हाँ यार शुरू तो कुछ करते हैं, but you did it. So I'm really I'm inspired by it. So I'm gonna take this away with the next year. So thank you for that, and all the best for your new other podcasts as well.
And if in case you start a podcast next year, let me be your guest.
I'm gonna be my first guest. That's for sure. For sure.
Deal
Done.
Okay, so thank you again, Gurleen. Thank you for your precious time and sharing a lot of information and insights from the industry. I'm sure our viewers will going to love this, and thanks again.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay. I know you've been very busy, and you've been traveling countries, and you've been traveling India. So thank you for taking out your time, and especially on Sunday, because I know Sunday is very special for us.
I would have been lying around rather, so it's great we did it, and thank you for making my Sunday wonderful. And I hope you
my pleasure.
Hope to see you in Delhi, babe. Now.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.